Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever and whenever you are. I'm Cameron, and I'm back for the second episode of Entertainment Talk. Today we're talking about Back to the Future Part 2, the movie released in 1989. Let's do it. So the Back to the Future trilogy, it's one of the most beloved trilogies from the 1980s. It is the first Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. But today we're talking about Part 2. The biggest and possibly most memorable part of Back to the Future Part 2 is the 2015 sequence. We got to see the future. We got to see all this cool stuff. It's like, people were like, is this really what the future is going to be? It really made you think. It was pretty cool back then, and it's still cool to watch now. But that all took place in October 2015. It's been 2 years now, and we're going to take a look at what really came true there. We're going to have a little talk, a little discussion about what came true and what was just so far-fetched. We're not going to look at every single prediction because there's a lot of stuff there, but we're going to look at a lot of them. So let's get started. I figured this was really the best time to do it because, it's October. It's been 2 years now. It's not right at October 2015, but it's October 2017. It's been exactly 2 years, so I figured now is probably the best time as ever because it's not so fresh anymore and everyone was like, oh, this, and this. Now we can really just take a look at it. So I thought it'd be a really cool discussion to have, and that's pretty much it. You guys ready to go? I know I definitely am. Let's start with the first one, Mr. Fusion. No, definitely not. Mr. Fusion was supposed to be like, almost like a car could run off like compost, which is awesome, but that would never happen. Even if it was feasible, even if that could actually come true, which it could probably come true, where your car could live off compost or milk. Anyone remember that Phil the Future episode? It will never happen. Or car running off water.
And it runs on water, man!
That 70s show? No, none of that would ever happen because the government will never allow that to happen. If they're gonna keep making money off the oil industry and the gasoline industry, it's not gonna happen. Now, flying cars. No, this definitely didn't come true, but it's actually kind of funny because I remember back in 2007, I had my 5th grade English teacher, English of all classes, told us about how they were developing these flying cars. They were like going to start testing, like the basics of what could make a flying car happen. Well, it's been 10 years now. And I remember thinking in that class like, oh gee whiz, 8 years from now I could have my flying car, like in Back to the Future Part 2. But no, it's not a thing, and who knows, I feel like it definitely could happen someday, but there's just a lot of things that don't make it really possible. The thing is, I feel like flying cars are definitely, they could happen as far as you could I feel like they could make them. They could become a possibility, but I don't think they ever will. And what I mean by that is the fact that, just the traffic system, the way that this works, the way that, traffic and the roads and just having to fly in the sky amongst airplanes, it'll never be a thing because that just can't work. But as far as is it possible for them to make flying cars? Absolutely. I feel like we could make flying cars. It just wouldn't make sense. Double ties. No. This will never be fashion. Barcode license plates. No, we don't have these. It could be kind of cool, but I never see it happening. Plastic surgery treatments. This I think it was supposed to make fun of the fact that back in the 80s, plastic surgery was kind of like a thing, but it wasn't huge. It was supposed to be poking fun at the fact that in the future, pretty much everything's gonna be done plastic surgery. Nothing plastic surgery would just be huge to the fact where you're even getting your entire face done for no reason. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Plastic surgery treatments are way too big. Look at Kylie Jenner and that whole thing. The fact that pretty much anyone is oh, one little problem with me, plastic surgery will take care of it. I feel like this was definitely a very good prediction. Digital binoculars. Yes, these did come true. It wasn't really a far-fetched idea, but yep, there we go. First one on the list. That's really entirely true. Powered laces. Yes, these are a thing now from Nike, but it wasn't one of those things where it's okay, technology was up to date, so now we're making these power lacing shoes. No, this isn't a mainstream thing. Nike made these shoes because of Back to the Future. This is what's funny. This was almost like they fulfilled a prophecy. This is the only one on the list where they did it because of Back to the Future. Well, and sort of the hoverboards, we'll get into that later. That's what's funny though, is these shoes, they're super expensive. You can't really get a hold of them. They are really expensive. You could, but why would you spend the money on them? They're not stylish. But this was more Nike doing it because of the movie. Now this is one on the list that I think is hilarious and just wasn't really thought about. It's the fact that Doc Brown picks up the newspaper. Now, out of all these things in the movie, that they're changing, you have all this random stuff where it's that'll never be a thing. I think it's hilarious that they figured, oh, people will still be reading the newspaper. No. Nope. We do not get our news from the newspaper anymore. It's pretty much all, on the internet, over our cell phones, that sort of thing. So this was definitely a prediction that was not even really a prediction. It was just something that they expected to stay the same, way off. And in that newspaper, we see something about Queen Diana. Unfortunately, as we all know, Princess Diana passed away in 1997 after getting in a car accident, so obviously that did not come true. I love this one right here, where Doc Brown says this line.
15 years in the state penitentiary? Within 2 hours?
The justice system works swiftly in the future now that they've abolished all lawyers.
What? No. Nope. Now this is this right here is gonna tie in with what I previously said about newspapers, and it's gonna tie into the next thing. We have no cell phones in the whole movie. It's pretty funny. Like, we have actual phones, and then we have pay phones. You see people using pay phones. No, I don't remember the last time I saw a payphone. I'm sure we still have them. I'm sure some bigger cities have them around. But I think the last time I really remember seeing one was at the mall that was in my hometown. Before they remodeled it, there was payphones in it. That is the last time I remember seeing payphones. I know they exist, but they're not a big thing. Home phones are still not many people. Some people just go with cell phones nowadays. They don't even have home phones. So it's funny because you don't see any cell phones or just any portable phones in this movie. And that kind of goes in with the whole news thing. I guess they didn't really expect that we'd be using, these portable devices to be getting our news in the future. This is one that I think is kind of weird. It's scary how accurate this is. So in, Cafe 80s, which is cool, by the way, and hang on, tying in with the whole Cafe 80s thing. So there's a place in my hometown in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's called Totally 80s Pizza. Now this is kind of cool because this place is actually literally like Cafe 80s. It's like a pizza bar sort of thing, and it's also like a museum. It's got a lot of 80s artifacts, that sort of thing, and that reminds me so much of Cafe 80s and Back to the Future. But going in with that, in the Cafe 80s scene, you have these basically dead celebrities. I mean, now they're dead, but you have them as CGI people. You got Ronald Reagan, Michael Jackson, and they're kind of giving off menu items. Now this is not a thing at all. But what is scary about this is the fact that we do actually have a lot of, celebrities nowadays that are recreated CGI. I mean, take a look at Carrie Fisher in Rogue One. There's all kinds of treatments to actual actors, like in Civil War, Robert Downey Jr., when they made him look super young. So it's kind of scary how accurate this is. This is actually a pretty huge thing in movies and television and that sort of thing. Sequels. Yeah. Jaws 19. Sure, we don't have sequel series that go that far, but sequels have gone way too overboard nowadays. Take a look at the Saw series, the Fast and the Furious series. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even Star Wars, as beloved as it is, they just keep milking and just keep pumping the movies out. So I'd say it's definitely pretty accurate. That came true. Hoverboards. Now they sort of came true, but not really. I kind of discussed it a little bit already. They fulfilled the prophecy by hoverboards were made because of Back to the Future. I feel like I don't think they ever would have been a thing if it wasn't for Back to the Future. But the way the hoverboards are, they just only slightly float off the ground, and you kind of ride it like a skateboard, I guess. But I feel like they barely work like they're supposed to, and they definitely don't float, way off the ground where you can fly across landscape on them. So I can't say the hoverboards really came true. I mean, the name, yes. The actual idea of how it looked in the movie, no, not quite. Picture-in-picture television. This definitely came true, but it's not as big anymore. I remember DirecTV had it, Dish Network. You could do it to watch plenty of TV channels at once, but really not as big as it once was. I don't remember the last time I was even able to do that feature. So I don't know if it's still a thing, but at one point this was true. It came true. Now there's that scene where they're all just distracted and obviously obsessed with technology, even at the kitchen table. I feel like this is really true, with little handheld video games, cell phones, tablets, just always needing to have technology and being obsessed and distracted by it at all times. So definitely accurate. Now I love how they have those goggles. It's they have those cool goggles things, they're watching something, and that's actually true. Google Glasses. I'd say that pretty much came true. That is a prediction that is true because, I mean, that's what it is.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
This prediction is very close, but we actually took a step back. You had the Wii where you had the motion controls, and you had the Xbox where you just used your body. You didn't even have to use a controller. But now we kind of went backwards. You know, that didn't sell as well as everyone thought it would, so now we're kind of back to like everyone would rather just, you know, use a controller, which that's what I consider gaming. I consider gaming using a controller. So we did take a step back with this, but at one point this was really true. The pizza. Oh, I wish that could be a thing. It probably never will, but I'd die a happy man if that was a thing. Thumbprints as identification. Now, you know, we have cell phones, computers that can do this sort of thing. You know, I remember even in school lunches, I know that a lot of schools do that. You use your thumbprint to pay for your lunch. I don't think it'll ever, it's not a thing nowadays, you know, where you can use it to unlock your door and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure that it's out there, but it's probably very expensive, you know. It's not like mainstream like this, but so the technology's there, but we're not quite at the point where we're using our thumbprint to unlock everything. I think a lot of cars even have this feature, so you know it's definitely starting to get up there. But I don't. As far as 2015, this wasn't quite mainstream. It's still not mainstream. Now this one right here isn't a prediction or anything like that. It's just, you know, the guy with the parrot. Funny story. At the apartment complex that I'm in, there's always this guy with has a parrot on his shoulder. He has dreadlocks. Whenever he's doing his laundry, he's got the parrot just chilling. Kind of reminds me of this guy. Voice activation for the lights. Definitely true. You know, we have voice activation like Siri, but even now we're getting into like Amazon Echo, you know, Alexa. You can have her do anything. You can have her control, you know, your lights, your home, that kind of thing. So this one is for sure true. Video phone calls on the TV. Yep, big one. It's funny. This almost looks directly like Skype, the way that it worked, and I think that's pretty cool. You know, it's not powered by AT&T, but you know, we have video calling. We can do it on our TV. So yep, true. Fax machines. I don't even know the last time I saw a fax machine. I know they're big, but like having a fax machine every room of your home, like, what? Did they think the fax machines were still going to be that big? I mean, I know a lot of businesses use them, but people in homes don't really have fax machines anymore. Automatic dog walkers. Nah. Nope. What the fuck is Pepsi Perfect? Now here are my closing thoughts here. Quite a bit did come true. You know, we have a lot of technology that is getting to that point, but it's just not quite as mainstream as a lot of this is. A lot of things definitely were so far-fetched. Some things didn't stay the same. You know, a lot of this technology was out of here years ago. There's a lot of things that we have now that I feel like would have made sense to include in there back in the day, like that should have been thought of, such as like portable cell phones. But you know, for the most part, I feel like a lot of things did come true. A lot of things are getting there. I think for the most part, a lot of this technology is there. It's just not mainstream because it just doesn't make sense logically. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was kind of just an entertainment talk all about stuff in Back to the Future that came true, didn't come true, all that good stuff. Back to the Future 2 is one of my favorite movies. Like I said, the first is my favorite movie. Love the whole trilogy. Just thought it'd be a cool little video to do for entertainment talk. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I want to know, what do you guys want to see next as far as entertainment talk? Anything you want me to talk about? If anyone has any ideas, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. And also let me know what you think the best prediction in Back to the Future Part 2 was. I'd love to hear about that. Thank you once again. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.